Hey, this is Bill Champlin, and you're listening to Night Views Radio.
All right, welcome back. This is Chat About It, and you're listening to Night Views. Give us a call at 877-CHAT-212. That's 877-242-8212. And let's chat. Let's chat with Keith Chagall. He's our special guest on the show. That's his music playing back there. And Keith, again, I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. We definitely dig the music. And I wanted to know what the main message and inspiration behind the writing and producing of Invitation is.
Well, that's a great question, guys. Michael Blue, who did Colby Caillat's wonderful record, Coco, she had a big hit a couple years ago. Right. He and I co-produced this album, and we brought in some people that were quite a bit from a different generation to do some lyric work with me. One of the guys is Academy Award winner.
Phone's ringing.
Academy Award winner. That might have been him on the phone right there.
Hello.
Live show. Academy Award winner Al Kasha, and Al has won 2 Academy Awards actually for Best Song of a Movie 2 years in a row. So, you know, at the end of the day, people today they tend to just concentrate on American Idol type artists, and they're not really artists at this point yet because they're still so young and malleable that they hire producers to write music for them that's not their own point of view. I thought it would be nice to write an album myself with original music that would kind of reinvent the dialogue between couples again. I think people are texting so much, and I love texting for business, but when it comes to emotional conversations, it's very difficult to hear what other people are feeling through a text.
Absolutely. It's really good to hear you say that, Keith, too, because not to take anything away from the talent that's out there right now, but you're absolutely right. When you take the emotions, when you take the personal experience out of the song, you kind of strip the music of what it's all about. And I'm really glad to hear that you're putting stuff out there that you're feeling from the heart. I read your bio. Read Keith Chagall's bio. You know, I got a tear in my eye from it. It's great. And it's really good to see that there are still musicians out there that are bringing the noise.
Well, that's so very kind of you. I think it's all about connecting with people, and that's what I'm really all about. We're getting ready to do some nice touring early next year. This has been a horrendous great recession. My hats are off to all the Americans out there that have hung in through this really unprecedented time. So we're just delighted to be able to bring a little piece of peace and relaxation and something that could just say, you know, let me get my breath back and go at it again tomorrow, live to fight another day. And that's what it's all about. I think it's important that the power of love be in front of everybody's face today with everything that's going on. Look what happened today, guys, on Saturday. You know what I'm talking about with the news.
Right. What are you referring to?
Yeah, exactly. What
I'm
do you mean?
referring to the guy in Texas, in Florida.
Oh Lord, yeah. The guy with the ripping or the burning of the Qurans, you mean?
Yeah. Just without getting too much into that, I'd say, but a little more love wouldn't hurt anybody. It'd be good for everybody all around. You know what I'm saying?
All you need is love.
You know what? If he was listening to your music, the idea wouldn't even have come into his head.
No, absolutely. He might have used the Quran for maybe a nice little book, you know, and not just to burn something.
Yeah, really.
Because I think when you talk about love and understanding, I think you have to have a dialogue with other people and other cultures, other points of view, and that's what Rosh Hashanah is about as well. And I think that it's wonderful that they're going to go talk in New York this week. Isn't that terrific?
Wonderful. 150%.
Let's send them a copy. Why don't you send them a copy from New York? You guys are up there.
Yes. No, leave me out. Listen, I'm the diva of the show. I don't do anything but come here and talk, okay? So don't even try that stuff.
I'm just kidding.
Travis, watch it. We're on CBS Radio now. How dare you?
I came close already.
And I have to give a shout out, guys, to the fellas at Gibson Guitars and Sennheiser Electronics who have sponsored us in the last few months. As we're starting to build more awareness of this music, we want to get it out for commercials and television. So I'm sure people will be hearing it in a lot of different places. I think that's the future of the music industry as we're seeing it develop right now and branding oneself. And it's going to be a wonderful thing to be able to do this here and live.
Absolutely. I agree, Keith. And make sure you have Gibson send that check out to Robert Saul, S-A-U-L.
I will.
No, Gibson makes great guitars. I'm a guitar player myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Travis loves Gibson.
So don't hate on Gibson. That's all I ask.
Absolutely.
Tell us.
So what else is going on with you guys? What else are we talking about?
Well, I wanted to talk about some of the amazing players and writers on Invitation. It's such a great group of guys you got involved in this album. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I was very fortunate and very blessed to have probably one of the finest drummers on the U.S. music scene, probably in the whole planet. And his name is Abraham Laboriel Jr. He plays for a couple of guys that just been in the business a while, people like Sir Paul McCartney and Eric Clapton.
With Paul, yeah.
He's the most brilliant drummer. He really is. And when I approached him about this record, we had worked on Soundlight together before, and he said, you know, you got to call my dad to play bass on this. And I just didn't know anything about the jazz world. I'm a self-taught musician. And I called his dad, who understood what I was trying to do with the Latin, Brazilian, Miami sound and with pop melodies. And his father, it turns out, was one of the greatest bass players in the music scene in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and still plays out there. He's just a maestro. So having the two of them in the studio at the same time was pretty amazing. You can see a little film about it on the website, keithchagall.com. There's a little EPK of how the record was made. Michael Blue, as I said. Chris Brook is probably one of the finest engineer mixers in the country. He's a Grammy Award-winning guy who won for his work with Alejandro Sanz for MTV Best Engineered Album at the Grammys. And, you know, when you're around guys that great, if you're writing halfway decent music, which I think this is, you know, how can you go wrong?
Yeah, things just kind of glue together. Yeah, I imagine with all
It
those
really did.
professionals.
Yeah, and after we did all that, as I said, I'm self-taught, but I knew I wanted to have some exotic instruments that I had not been using before in my previous 4 albums. And so I made a little list of things I wanted to use: a bassoon, tenor sax, a muted trumpet like Miles Davis. I wanted to have a John Coltrane type saxophone, just really unique type of instruments all working together. And I was able to meet with a guy named Lee Thornburg, who works with Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And he's on tour with Supertramp for this summer. He'll be back in a few. And Doug Webb on saxophone. These are legendary guys in the jazz world, and they did the most amazing job. All the music on this record, guys, is live, and none of it is synthesized. It's all real instruments, real guys playing, and that's what makes this record feel like it's a little, I don't know, one reviewer called it timeless, and so that's something you try to shoot for that's going to sound good, you know, 5 years from now.
Still sound the same, not outdated or anything.
Yeah.
So do you mind if we take a quick caller, Keith?
Please.
All right, I'm going to bring on to the show Lisa from here in New York. She's in Brooklyn. She's a listener of the show, and she's calling to congratulate everybody. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hey, Rob. How are you guys?
Good. How are you? It's great to hear your voice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I want to say congratulations to all you guys, you and Travis.
Thank you.
Mike. Really nice show. It's very cool. And Keith, congrats, too, on your new album. I'm actually looking forward to listening to the whole thing. I love that song that they just played, Summer of Your Life. Really cool.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks.
Yeah,
some of the other ones
congrats
are
on getting that into the soundtrack, too. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to give you a feeling that even if you're in the New York winter later, this will make you feel like you're in Hawaii.
Well, you know, it already did, and it's a nice, breezy, cool day here in Brooklyn already. So, you know, it's like 60-something degrees, and I felt like I was in Hawaii or something listening to it. Really, really nice. Very nice. Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for calling, Lisa. I appreciate
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you, and I'll say hi to you on the camera. Hi, Lisa. And
Hey.
Yeah, there's a delay. She's probably going to see that.
yeah,
a
she's
little bit
going
later.
to see that in about 5 minutes. So look for my wave.
No, I actually see you now.
There we go.
Well, that makes me uncomfortable. Thanks a lot. No, it's always it's always a lot of fun when you call, Elise. You always make the show. You know, you kick it up a notch, but you know, we always appreciate it. So you have a good
you
night.
guys are great. So I'm really happy for all of you.
All right, thank
I
you,
just want
Lisa.
to call in, give kudos, and I'm going to go listen to the rest of the show. I ain't got time to be on the phone.
Enjoy. Thanks.
Take care, Lisa.
All right, so that was Lisa from Brooklyn, a listener of the old show.
Lisa. Thank you.
I wanted to know who some of your influences are, Keith.
You know, some of my influences are Burt Bacharach.
Oh, very nice.
Do you love
That's a good
him? I
name.
mean, his music sounds fantastic every decade. I mean, it just sounds fresh.
Yeah, I'd put him in the legend status.
legend stars. I had the good fortune of meeting and playing music with George Harrison, so he's been a very good influence to me as far as melody and guitar kind of tastefulness. Jobim, Carlos Antonio Jobim, who wrote The Girl from Ipanema, huge influence. Brian Wilson, I love Brian very, very much. And of course, Lennon and McCartney. You can't really get better than those guys when it comes to constructing good music. It's all about construction. A lot of times, a lot of my friends would be very disappointed that they went and bought a CD for like $17, and it was just one or two songs that were really good, and the rest were like filler.
Yeah,
but,
how many times does that happen, really?
Yeah. But if you look at some of the great artists like Elton John or the Beatles catalog, every record was just a complete from beginning to end. There wasn't a clinker in the bunch for the most part. It took us about 2 years to do this album so that would be the same case, that every song is listenable and enjoyable. There's a vibe, and nothing feels like it's a filler.
Right. Yeah. No, it's good stuff, and it's funny. I'm glad to hear your influences, because I definitely heard in Soundlight particularly, and I don't mean to jump to another album, but Soundlight in particular reminded me a lot of the Beatles, and in particular Paul McCartney, and so I think your influences are definitely driving your music, and what's better than that?
There's nothing much better than that. I mean, you don't want to be known as the guy that sounded like such and such, but I mean, to be compared in a favorable way to a Beatle recording is not a terrible thing that could happen to somebody in one's life.
I think you can just hear the influences, Keith. I wouldn't say that you sound like those artists. You can
no, it's good. Yeah. I didn't mean it. I didn't take it wrong. You guys said it nicely. It didn't. There's a lot of groups that I've heard in the past that they sound like they're trying to copy it or be a novelty, goof like the Ruddles or something. And I was very serious about the Soundlight track, because it was a song that I wrote right after George Harrison had passed, and I was really feeling his heart and his spirit and how empty the world felt when he died, and so I wanted to write a song that would capture sonically the best of one of my favorite albums, which was Abbey Road. And Abbey Road has just such beautiful engineering and just structure, and this song, I think captured something that perhaps it sounds like something the Beatles might have written but didn't. But I wanted to reach him, and that's why I did it in that style. It was my homage to George Harrison.
Well, it makes sense. You did a good job.
Very nice. And I just wanted to remind everyone again that you can go to KeithChagall.com, and you spell Chagall Chagall, and check out all the stuff there. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Keith and talk a little more, and we'll play another one of his tracks. So we'll be back after this short break.